The MSVR Focus Cup is brought to you in association with Power Maxed.
Hello and welcome to Donington Park, where we kick off the MSVR Focus Cup Championship for 2022. Reigning champion Simon Rudd is back on the grid and up for more action, but he's going to have a tough mission in 2022 to retain the crown, as right from the first round, there's a whole host of drivers that will want to take the championship away. Simon Rudd, championship winner 2021, back for more this season. What is it about this championship that means you just can't get enough?
Yeah, I had a really good season last year. Obviously winning it makes it much more fun. I think, the whole environment here made me want to come back as well. A lot of the drivers do get on well with each other. There's no secrets. We share data, video. And to be honest, I just had a really good time. So it was one of my options that I was looking at for 2022, and yeah, we've ended up here.
So from a racing driver's point of view, the Focus, it's essentially a baby touring car. Is that kind of the end game, or is this just a great place to race?
No, I'd love to be in touring cars. We were on the touring car package in 2019. That's where we wanted to get to, but obviously with COVID and things like that and sponsorship, we fell off a little bit in 2020. We wasn't able to do anything. So, yeah, I mean, with these cars, they're all looked after by the same team. The racing's closed. The cars are meant to be very similar. So yeah, the racing's really good. Very close. You have a bit of a mix of drivers, but that's what racing's about.
Well, one of the newest drivers competing in the championship this year is Avis Walton, who is going out on her rookie plates. How are you finding it so far?
Hi, just a bit of a learning curve with everything really. I've been trying to find out my lines and find out where I should be, and just thought if I can find out where I should be first, then I can put more speed into it, and then to me that's the best way to learn. Instead of going out flying and then you just end up doing something silly, which I can't say I didn't do this morning.
Well, you come from the world of quad biking before this, so this is a very different machine to tame.
Yeah, definitely. That's what everyone kept saying. Think you want a quad, and I'm thinking it's not the same at all. But in a way, I feel safer in a car because there's more around me, but it's completely different. But I'm having as much fun with it, so. No, I really am enjoying myself.
And I can't help but notice that the car is very Ken Block Hoonigan. Was that just something that happened by accident, or was that intentional?
No, Dad showed me that car and I was like, oh, that's a beautiful car, that is. And then we ended up we just started and it just didn't stop. We just carried on. And then it was like, right, I said, Dad, just calm down now. There's enough stickers on this car now.
It's become a bit of a tribute bandwagon.
Yeah, he said he was seeing them prints for days where he was shutting his eyes. It's all he could see.
Well, Mark Geraghty, 2022 is going to be quite a fortuitous one for you. Tell us about how you've wound up racing in Focus Cup this year.
Well, I've done a bit of racing up at Knockhill and was getting a bit bored of Knockhill and thought I'll take a break from it, have new family and that. So, and then I noticed obviously prize drive and I thought, this could be quite interesting just to take a punt, bought a few tickets for it, and here I am at the circuits where I wanted to be, but I didn't have budget, stuff like that. But now it's paid for, so thanks to Simon and Prize Drive for the amazing opportunity.
A fantastic opportunity for you to go racing. What does this mean in terms of your preparation for the season ahead? How have you had to adapt to the new car?
Well, I've done a good few test sessions. Part of the prize that Simon done, there was a couple of test sessions, so we tested here, Walton Park, and we also did an optional one on top of that at Cardwell Park. So yeah, just try to get on top of the car. There has been a few mechanical gremlins who qualified 10th, where yesterday we were up near the front runners, a couple of tenths off the front runners, so we'll get to the bottom of the mechanical issues and hopefully fight our way through the field.
And how much of a learning curve has it been to learn a new car ahead of this season?
I've got to say the first test session at Walton Park, the diesel, getting used to the lower revs, and I've been used to racing little Mini Coopers up in Scotland and revving them as hard as possible. So no, it's adapting well to it, just trying to get a balance and a setup that suits myself, working with mechanics. But no, I'm sure we'll get there, and we'll be further up the grid next time.
So Liam McGill, good to see you in the Focus Cup for 2022. Tell us a little bit about how you came to be on the starting grid this year.
Yeah, one of my friends he tagged me on Facebook on a sponsored post for Focus Cup, so I had a little look into it and I thought, yeah, that's perfect for me. I do a bit of racing myself up the road, and it takes up a lot of your time working on the car. So I thought, you just show up on the day and you have mechanics working on your car. I thought it's absolutely perfect, stress-free, so definitely enjoyed it so far this weekend, yeah.
Does that improve the atmosphere amongst the drivers as well, knowing that everybody's kind of there for the same reason with the same agenda?
I think so, yeah. I think so. I mean, everybody's happy in this championship to share set-up advice or share, advice actually out there on the track and what they're doing differently than others. So, yeah, it's certainly a lot different to what I'm used to, that's for sure, because there's not normally that much information being shared. But, it's fine. It's fine by us. We're quite happy to do that as well. So, yeah, it's good.
And it's very hard to come across a championship in Great Britain these days where you can do the whole season for under 25 grand.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Yeah, I mean, I'm only doing the first round, but I'm certainly got my eye on that because, if we do as well as we hope to do in the next two races, I think we might end up booking up for the rest of the year. So we'll see what happens.
Depends on how addictive it gets, I suppose.
That's true. Hopefully, if I keep out the barriers, I'll have enough money to race for the rest of the year.
So ahead of race one, Scott Parkin on pole position. Scott, how things looking going into this first one?
Yeah, pretty good. It's the best way to start the race weekend, I would have thought. Kind of expected to be near the front, but based on yesterday, I would have thought maybe second or third, but yeah, looking good. So.
Little bit of sleet ahead of this first race. How is that going to make things interesting out there?
I don't think it's going to affect the race at all, really. I think it's going to be pretty dry out there, so should be good.
Okay, good luck.
Telling me to go, so.
Yes, they're off and away, so off you go. Quick dab of water before... Oh, I'll take that. Thank you very much. So they've just sent the cars to the grid for race one. I've now got Scott's celebratory bottle of water as he prepares, but there is a little bit of sleet in the air, so it could make things interesting. Over to Richard John Neal for the starting grid.
Thanks, Jake. Look after that bottle, won't you, mate? Scott Parkin on pole position from Liam McGill, Simon Rudd and Simon Watts on row 2. They're followed by Ian Mitchell and Jonathan Baker, then Sean Reynolds and Richard Avis completing row 4. Row 5, Spencer Fortag and Mark Geraghty. Callum Eason is 11th from Claire Avis, Abby Walton, Simon Walton, and the grid completed by Greg Saunders. You can see from the cloud cover here things could get a little bit tricky as the race goes on. At the moment the weather is holding and it's Scott Parkin on pole position. If he looks across and slightly back, he'll see Focus Cup debut man that we heard from, Liam McGill, alongside him. So it's Parkin in the black Powerflex car on the front row of the grid. The lights are on. Out go the lights. Parkin and McGill front row. Simon Rudd and Simon Watts on row 2. The defending champion in the blue and white car on row 2. Cars taking to the grass to try and make passes. In car with McGill as we go down into Redgate for the first time. But it's Scott Parkin who leads the race into turn 1. Liam McGill has a look up the inside. Getting close, but not too close here. Loses a wee bit of momentum, and around the outside goes the defending champion. Simon Rudd up into second position, wants to chase Scott Parkin. There's a little bit of honour at stake between these two here today. I'll talk more about that in terms of the championship statistics a little bit later on. But now Rudd's got his mirrors full of Liam McGill coming up into Schwantz. McGill across the curbs on the inside. This is effectively two left-handers, and is McGill going to get the place back? Rudd will want to try and hold on in blue and white on the inside of McLean's, which he does, and should, I think, annex second position. McGill, for his trouble, gets sent out towards the curbs, the uphill climb now into the double right-hander. Good overtaking going on further down the grid, and contact here between Simon Watts in the 23, who gets turned around. So coming together, what's with it, and you can see just how much he gets punished as McGill is punishing Rudd. Great line out of coppice, sets him up for a good run down the straight. He's got back into second position. Big bun fight going on for fourth, headed at the moment by the number 10 car of Jonathan Baker. Spencer Fortag side by side with Callum Eason. Richard Avis is in front. Richard, the top career point scorer in the championship over the 3 seasons we've had, 640 ahead of Simon Waugh, so he's going to extend that in this race. Simon Waugh not with us. And wherever you look, there are some great battles going on in these very evenly matched cars. Callum Eason again, rookie last year, a rookie this year, didn't do a full campaign, just had a toe in the water. And big sideways moment there for Liam McGill. He's learning his craft on the big circuits here and manages to collect it up. That parked car is Claire Avis. Claire is 5th in the career point standing, so it's not going to do her any favours having a DNF so early on in the opening race of this season. But Claire, a consistent point scorer over the years. We can expect to see her do more of that over the course of this season. But Scott Parkin, the leader. Liam McGill second. Simon Rudd opening the defence of his championship, as you heard from Jake in the interviews, is there. All the sevens having a good dice. Sean Reynolds and Richard Avis. Mark Geraghty in the... What a great way to come racing, isn't it? To win this as a prize. The tickets are not expensive, so to get that, I've had the pleasure of calling Mark Geraghty in some of his Scottish Mini Cooper Cup races, and he gets stuck into Jonathan Baker, and John Baker's still there soaking up the pressure. Back with the top 3, coming down into Redgate once again. Scott Parkin is the leader, Liam McGill second, Simon Rudd third. That looks relatively settled at the moment, so it's sort of head down now and see if any catching can be done. Possibly grab a fastest lap as well. May well be the target for these drivers, and look how clear they are of John Baker running in 4th position at the moment in the blue number 10, in car with Sean Reynolds. That's the white and green 777 car chasing Mark Geraghty in the prize drive car. Remember, that was driven by Branko Kaprowski last year. Branko taking fastest laps and indeed a win in the course of the season. It just goes to prove that all of the cars very evenly matched and competitive, but Geraghty's got a problem, just as I say he's competitive. Geraghty slowing up along the straight. Well, Mark's managed to get the car back into pit lane, and some diagnostics will surely happen, maybe getting back out on track. Just the one retirement so far in this race, which is Claire Avis, we saw on the opening lap. Claire herself safe and well. The car will be tended to and hopefully back out on the grid for race 2. Now, I mentioned earlier on that we've got a little battle of pride. We'll come back to that in a minute, because Liam McGill is still here in second position on his debut, and this is the great thing about this championship. We have experienced drivers that have been with the championship since its inception. They stay with the championship, but we get new drivers coming in, and that's the great thing, and they're all competitive, as you can see. McGill here at the moment in P2 has actually got the fastest lap of the race, a 1:25.897 seconds. The lap record here is with Paul Donkin, 1:24.484. I'll tell you what, Scott Parkin was on the limit and McGill is closing up, so maybe Parkin is feeling a bit of pressure here. Now, coming back to those stats in terms of career wins in this championship, 5 apiece. Great news, Mark Geraghty back on track. There'll obviously be a way back, but this is more good track time for him. So Richard Avis getting stuck in, and John Baker on the inside of Sean Reynolds coming in, and following through is the 77 of Richard Avis. So Avis going through, John Baker up front. Sean Reynolds loses that position, but holds on gamely on the outside as they go around Hollywood down into the Craner curves. Good side-by-side racing from the MSVR Focus Cup Championship into the old hairpin. This is settled now, isn't it? For the moment, anyway. The Reynolds Dryline car will give chase to John Baker. John qualified in 6th place in this one, so Very good championship points. A quick reminder about this, well, we'll come back to reminders here again, just as I want to talk about something. We get some on-track action of Richard Avis having a look up the inside. Is he going to be able to do it? No, here's a great line there from Sean Reynolds in the 777 car. Is going to see him off for the moment. Some good racing going on behind as well. The WDE Motorsport car of Callum Eason is their son of Wayne and Joanne Eason. Wayne, of course, known as being an ace car prep man and team man, and Joanne a good racer as well. Had a go in Focus Cup last year, you may remember. So into Redgate again. Richard Davis still giving chase to Sean Reynolds. So these guys really embroiled in a battle for points. And a quick reminder that in terms of points, the qualifying sessions count as race points. The championship points are exactly the same, so you have to qualify well, and it's effectively like having 3 races per meeting with the qualifying session counting. So you can't afford to sit back in any of the qualifying sessions. You have to get stuck in. And then we've got the reverse grid race, which will come up later on, where the cars are reversed in groups of 6. So 1st to 6th place finishes are reversed, and then 7 to 12 and so on and so forth down the grid. Davis still giving chase here at the moment. John Baker in 4th position. The lead trio still Scott Parkin, Liam McGill and Simon Rudd. Spencer Fortag, former race winner in the championship, chasing Callum Eason. That is for 8th place at the moment, down the straight coming down towards the Roberts chicane. So we'll see Callum on the brakes, flick right and then left. Here we get the head-on version. Another car in the mix immediately behind as well. And Spencer has a good run in the Cartech machine here. Is he going to be able to capitalise on that run out of the chicane? Callum Eason just covering the inside at the moment, thinks about going back out. You can see Callum's still got the novice cross on the back of the car. Now this could be good here for Spencer Fortag, who managed to take the wider line into Redgate. He'll have that little bit more momentum. The door is open and Callum Eason, I'm sure, has seen him. Here they come down in towards the grain of curves. This big drop away. Fair play, Callum Eason holds on to position. Great racing between those two. So back with Scott Parkin and Liam McGill. Scott, incidentally, I'll get this stat out finally. In terms of career championship wins, jointly with Andy Wilmot, who was the inaugural champion, and Simon Rudd, last year's champion, the driver with the most wins in the championship. They have 5 apiece. Parkin with 12 podiums, 3 fastest laps. Simon Rudd with 10 podiums and 5 fastest laps. So whichever way you slice the cake, there's not really a lot of difference between Parkin and Rudd. But if it stays like this, Scott Parkin will top the table with a 6th career win in the Focus Cup Championship. He's looking pretty good for that at the moment, although having said that, Liam McGill has kept him honest right the way through this race, and this is a debut driver, remember, so Liam McGill giving notice of intent. I'm wondering whether, with this performance in race 1, he was saying this is his only round. I think we'll see him back out, because to come out and be beating the reigning champion and have fastest lap still, of course, Liam McGill still got it in car with Liam McGill. Great to see a Scottish element in the championship as well. They'll be lobbying for a Knock Hill round, won't they? I feel sure about that. Whether that will happen or not, I don't know, because MSVR championships tend not to venture north of the border. But it's Scott Parkin still in front. Looks like he might have a car to deal with very shortly. In car with Liam McGill. This might provide an opportunity with Liam to find the lead car unsettled slightly. Now let's have a look. It depends very much where the traffic happens, if you could call traffic a solitary car that's going to be passed. And yeah, it's on the run into the chicane, so no big problem there. Yeah, very neatly passed. Abby Walton, who Jake caught up with before the start of play. Fair play. Difficult for Abby there, because coming into a chicane, which side do you go? But Abby caused no problems at all with the leaders, so fair play to Abby. And she is still running at the moment in 13th place. And it's Scott Parkin still out front in the black Powerflex car, still trying to get the fastest lap back. So remember, we're not on lap record pace. You might remember last year's final round here, wet conditions for race 1, Jamie Osborne, the erstwhile Ginetta Junior racer, taking a hat-trick of wins. And I had to go away and look at the lap records, because I had a sneaking suspicion that in one of the drier races that Jamie had maybe nicked the lap record, but he didn't. The lap record's still with Paul Donkin. In car with Callum Eason, Spencer Fortag still up ahead of him, and this is a great race between the two. We saw Callum ahead earlier on. And coming through is Simon Watts, who read that well. This is great, three-way dice going on here, and Simon Watts, third in the career points table, for those interested in such things, manages to get ahead. Callum Easton still learning his way, and that's the contrast there, isn't it? Watts, with all that experience in this championship, it is still a very young championship, but Callum Easton in only third meeting, I think. I have to check the stats on that. Spencer Fortag busy chasing him and trying to get back in front of Callum at the moment. Spencer looks one way, then the other, comes into the double apex coppice corner, will try and get himself set up for a run. Good exit here, will give him good speed along the straight, but back to Scott Parkin, who is keeping Liam McGill, I was going to say at arm's length, at wrist's length I suppose you'd probably say. It's on the last lap, so we've only got 1.9 miles to go for Scott Parkin to rack up a 6th career win and open the 2022 championship with a victory. Liam McGill will be, I think, a little bit annoyed maybe with second place, because he's shown the pace as we go back, and John Baker going through ahead of Sean Reynolds, who's going to try and repass. A little bit of clattering between the cars, maybe they touch. Richard Avis is in the mix as well. Another great three-way battle going on, and Baker, that was for 4th place, so Sean Reynolds up into 4th. Richard Avis in the mix as well. Very hard fought run there from Sean Reynolds. Here comes John Baker, hard on the brakes. You see the nose of the car just dipping as they go on the brakes, then it's back on the gas to try and get the run. At this point of the track, what can Baker do? Coming up into Schwantz, you can see wide outside line, trying to get as much speed as he can through Schwantz and up into McLean's. He's all over the back of the 777 car. This is for 4th position. Baker having lost out, they'll climb up into Coppice now. Meanwhile, back to the race leader, who comes through the final turns into the Roberts chicane for the last time, and it's going to be Scott Parkin who takes the win from pole position. Parkin wins. Liam McGill in 2nd place. Simon Rudd, the defending champion, will cross the line in a somewhat lonely 3rd place. And what about that battle for 4th? And it's ended with Reynolds in the gravel. Sean Reynolds is in the gravel. Now is Jonathan Baker involved. Here's a replay, in car with Sean, and there was a tap on the back end that had to have been Baker, because the blue car was the one that you saw go through. In car with Baker, from his perspective, he'll say the gap was there. That one will be no doubt discussed in the clerk's office. So a good race to open the 2022 Focus Cup Championship season. Scott Parkin from Liam McGill and Simon Rudd. Jonathan Baker next. Richard Davis in 5th from Simon Watts and Callum Easton. Spencer Fortag 8th from Greg Saunders and Simon Walton. The finish is completed by Ian Mitchell, Abby Walton and Mark Geraghty. Down to Jake in Parc Ferme.
Scott, what a brilliant way to start the season. It looked fairly straightforward out there, but it looked like there was some pressure certainly towards the end.
Yeah, definitely. So between qualifying and the race, I decided to lift the tyre pressures up a little bit, because the car felt better with them a bit higher, and I think the track had warmed up a little bit, temperatures had warmed up, so that was probably a bad idea. So it helped me at the start. I got a decent gap, but towards the end it just felt like driving on ice, and I lost it into the first corner a couple of times, just went wide, and that allowed Liam to close up. But luckily I think he was struggling with probably a similar issue, because every time I looked in my mirrors he was sideways one way, sideways the other, so that helped me on the straights to get away and keep that safe gap, so yeah, it worked pretty well.
Liam, what a great way to start the season, battling for the victory. A couple of more laps, you might have had a chance there.
Yeah, I mean at the start I fell back to 3rd, I think. Then I managed to come back through, and then it was my own fault. I had a big slide, so then I fell back again. weekend, but I come back through at the end, but wasn't quite enough laps, maybe one or two, and we could have been certainly battling for first. Yeah.
Simon, returning to the podium for the first weekend of the championship, not a bad way to start things, I guess.
Yeah, I'm happy with the result. I think third was probably the best I could get in that race. Scott and Liam were probably just a few tenths a bit quicker, so I'm happy with third for now.
Well, Callum, positive way to start the season, a rookie win in your first appearance of 2022.
Yeah, I mean, the race went really, really well. I got a good start, tried to go down the inside on the grass, become a lawnmower, but I had to back out of it, otherwise it could have caused a big accident for everybody. Gained a place, turn one, down the Croners, and then just managed to fight the position to the end.
Congratulations to our winners. Join us for more racing right after the break. Welcome back to Donington Park, and we're getting ready for the second race of the opening round of the 2022 Focus Cup Championship. The car's all prepared in-house, and as we're between races 1 and 2, a lot of work going on to refettle the machinery, ready to get everybody on equal terms out for race 2. Let's join Jake Sanson back in the paddock.
So one of the men who could tell us about life in the Focus Cup Championship is Simon Watts, who's going into year 3 of the championship now.
Actually, year 4. Yeah. So 3 full years before this, and looking forward to it very much.
So tell us about driving these cars. I'm guessing there's not a lot of difference between the showroom Focus TDCi 2 litre compared to the race car.
Oh, there's quite a lot of difference. In some ways, the road car could be quicker, 0 to 60 time and so on. But these are a true race car, so in terms of the handling, the suspension is very different.
And the mechanics, obviously, it's all one team. They look after every car rather than having separate teams. So the atmosphere must be great.
Yeah, absolutely. All the cars are exactly the same. The only thing we can vary is the suspension settings, so the dampers and the tyre pressures. Otherwise, they're all identical. So it makes for very, very close racing.
And that, of course, all comes down to driver feel, how you feel.
It does, yeah. It takes some time to get used to a race car and the differences that is from a road car.
So in terms of the atmosphere and the environment when you come here to go racing, I mean, how much more laid back is it, knowing that the only thing you have to do is bring your race gear, plug in and play, essentially?
It makes a big difference. I've looked at other championships where you have your own car, for instance, and this is the easy way to do it. So we just turn up on a Friday morning, have a day's testing, and then race all Saturday, then go home, and everything's taken care of. It's fantastic.
Home in time for the Grand Prix.
Yeah, indeed.
Rob Sims, you and Simon have put this together from an idea in a pub. All best things seem to work that way. What is it about this championship that really gives back to the driver?
Well, the whole concept from the word go was about being fair, trying to get everything cost-wise to where it's affordable to most people, and we just take the stress out of everything. So we've had novice people, we've had experienced people, and they all like business people and stuff like that. We just take all the stress out of it. So it throws a lot of things into the hat, the reason why we do this. So and the more we've done it, the better response we've had, and we're getting a wider collection of drivers to come see us. So it seems to be working.
And for the cost of the racing and the atmosphere that you've built here, I mean, it's a phenomenal concept. I mean, is growth going to be easy to come by as the world comes back into normality again?
I think hopefully, yes. There's a lot more interest. We've got people from Australia, believe it or not, coming over this year, and then we've got a second person coming across as well. And you sort of, we're getting further reach. Yeah. We're always... you bump into people in the touring car package and stuff like that, and they say that you're being chatted about all that because we are so different, and it is because they can actually come and jump in and know that it's them which is going to be the difference against anybody else. So and I think that what we've actually put together was a starting point, but all the teams that I've run, I've always believed that the driver's attitude before they bolt themselves into a car is very important. So it's a bunch of lads having a bit of a laugh of a weekend and stuff like that, and obviously, I don't advocate drinking, but in the bar of each evening, it bonds, you get that sort of bond with them. Obviously, Simon was one of my customers for many years, and and obviously this is I used to run him in other series. So when you actually sort of get that camaraderie, and then we've brought it into a whole grid of cars, all of a sudden you get people that don't want to knock somebody off. They want to go and sort of slide up the side of somebody and then laugh at them on the way past. Like you go in casting with your mates, and the atmosphere. I'm really proud that the atmosphere. We've got the online the WhatsApp groups and all the rest of it for the drivers, for the team. These guys are banging. I don't hardly go on it, and when you actually read through it and all the rest of it, and they're banging on it all the time. And it's heartwarming that it builds that community. And it's part of the weekend. We do this because it's fun. We want to enjoy ourselves.
Well, at least the weather's made its mind up ready for race 2, and now it's time to reverse the top 6 and the corresponding 6 behind them. So P6 is now P1. That means that Simon Watts is going to be in pole position, but with Mr. Avis alongside him on the front row of the grid and the top 3 from the first race just a couple of positions back, it's definitely going to make for a very interesting second race. Over to Richard John Neal to talk us through the action.
Thanks again, Jake. Yeah, 2 very experienced Focus Cup drivers on the front row. Simon Watts pole, Richard Avis alongside, as you said, Jonathan Baker and Simon Rudd on row 2, Liam McGill and Scott Parkin, race 1 winner, P6. They're followed by Abby Walton, who gets promoted from 12th place finish up to 7th on the grid. Then it's Ian Mitchell, Simon Walton, Greg Saunders, Spencer Fortag and Callum Eason, 7th place finish back to 12th on the grid. Grid completed by Claire Avis, Sean Reynolds and Mark Geraghty. In car with Sean, disappointment for him in race number 1 when vying for 4th place. Hopefully better luck for him in race number 2. But it's Watts and Avis on the front row of the grid. A lot of Focus Cup experience, as I said. The lights are about to go out, which they do. One slightly recalcitrant car, but doesn't cause any problems. I think it was Abby Walton who didn't get the best start, but she is underway, so fair play, Abby. Big battling going on behind. John Baker up into 2nd place. Not the best start for Simon Watts. Simon Rudd to his outside goes up into 3rd place, or certainly challenges for it. Race 1 winner Scott Parkin right behind those 2, so he'll watch and see how this pans out. Side by side down the craners, very nearly touching the pair of them. And it's Rudd that consolidates 3rd place. They head out of the craner curves, down into the old hairpin for the first time. Oh, and a big sideways moment there for Richard Avis. Loses momentum, collects it up quite quickly, and it's John Baker through into the lead. Here is Avis in car. Cold tyres probably to blame for him. I'll tell you what, he recovered really well. He's still in 3rd place, so that was a good recovery. We can bang on about mistakes, but it's how you recover from them, and he did a super job there. Through go the field, splendid sight. In car with Spencer Fortag, Mark Geraghty being challenged by Callum Eason, nearly said Wayne then. Callum having a look, picking his lines well, was I think the top overtaker in race number 1, as well as having the rookie class win. And this Scott Parkin, race 1 winner, as you heard, getting a reverse grid, partially reverse grids, groups of 6 reverse, so race winner starts P6 and has to try and chip his way through the field. So Parkin chasing Simon Watts. What sort of run can he get? Is it going to be a better run out of the chicane, or maybe better under brakes here as they're going to Redgate? Yeah, very neatly through on the inside. Still got to try and chase down the grey 77 car of Richard Avis. Race leaders heading down through. Oh no, not again! What a dismal meeting for Sean Reynolds. Let's have a look at what happened. Now, was that cold tyres again? Maybe a brake lock up before he goes into Redgate. That is going to be possibly a safety car, but very definitely yellow flags at turn 1, Redgate, because that car is in the gravel. So Scott Parkin busy challenging for 3rd place. Battle on for the lead up front. Job to know where to look. Just looking around, don't think we're having a safety car because I can't see yellow flags out anywhere else. Simon Watts climbs uphill. with Scott Parkin immediately in front of him. There he's parking in the Powerflex car, looking to try and get a foot on the potential podium here. Gets a good run out of Coppice. We'll look down the inside line. Richard Avis will see him. He'll know he's got the speed and doesn't defend that third place. So Avis, remember, recovered well from that Mr. Whippy moment earlier on. Collected it up well. Was on for a podium, but sadly not anymore. And our two front row runners are back together. Dicing for 4th and 5th place. Battle for the lead. John Baker coming into a yellow flag zone here. And I'll tell you what, Simon Rudd, the defending champion, will know that. He'll see that. So he'll optimise his line instead, and once he's out of the yellow flag zone, you saw the recovery work going on for Sean Reynolds. I really do feel for Sean Reynolds. I hope that he'll come back. We know he's quick, we know he's got top 3 pace from what we saw, top 4 pace, and therefore probably top 3 pace going forward. Our next round at Silverstone on the 23rd of April. Then Cadwell Park, Snetterton. I thought we might have got a lead change with the way that Rudd was taking a very attacking line. Well, not necessarily attacking is probably the wrong word in the yellow flag zone, but he positioned the car well to carry momentum down out of Hollywood and through the Craner curves. But at the moment, John Baker, as I mentioned, a very experienced driver in this championship and a quick driver as well. Simon Rudd, I know, would love to get that first win under his belt. Let's see as they come out of Coppice whether he can do it. Scott Parkin giving chase at the moment in this one as they come down slightly down the gradient. Is there going to be a gap on the inside? Tell you what, Rudd is too far back, but Parkin is now closing in, so Rudd's attention will maybe just go into his mirrors a little bit because he's got the race 1 winner, and you would argue his main championship rival right with him now, but it looks like a change for the lead could be on here before they get into the yellow flag zone. John Baker holds on to it. Fair play, John Baker. Doesn't have to go defensive because he knows the recovery work is still going on, and we'll maybe see that in shot. It's not complete yet, but they have moved the car away from shot, which we saw earlier on. Mark Geraghty looking to improve from the back of the grid and making up some good places as well. Could well be on for the biggest improver in this race. Simon Rudd continues on his way. So Scott Parkin in 3rd. Not the easiest of things to do, get a race double, but that's what Parkin's target will be. And it's within his sight here, literally, because he's got Rudd in front of him, who's not going to be easy to pass, and John Baker's not going to be easy either. As Parkin tries to go through, looks on the outside, up into Coppice, might get a better run on the exit here, and perhaps challenge as they go down the straight. Parkin going to the optimum outside line. Rudd gets a little bit defensive. See the Rob Sims Racing graphics on the inside, and Rudd will be losing a little bit of momentum here. This is good for John Baker, maybe to get away. Simon Watts involved in the mix as well. In car with Richard Avis, dicing with Simon Watts, who's got back in front of him. Fair play to him, great racing. Well, some superb racing going on right the way through the field here, and Mark Geraghty has caught the battle between Richard Avis and Simon Watts. Geraghty, remember, starting at the back of the grid. He did finish race 1, they got him back out, so the prize drive car looking pretty quick. We'll have a look at fastest laps in a moment for this one. It's toing and froing and still settling down at this stage of the race, to be perfectly honest, but Watts is still there, kicks up some dirt, James Bond villain style, and as a result Geraghty goes through, passes one car. Is he going to be able to make it 2 along the straight? Coming into the mix as well, first glimpse in this programme at Ian Mitchell coming through the 81 car, so Mitchell is past the 77 of Richard Avis as well. And Mark Geraghty, I'll tell you what, using all his Scottish Motor Racing Club Mini Cooper Cup experience to good effect here, and working his way through from the back of the grid up now ahead of Simon Watts. I think he's going to be clear, so he managed to do 2 cars on the straight. Talk about 2 cars in a lap when these are so very evenly matched. That's pretty good going from him. Ian Mitchell in front, Richard Avis I think no doubt enjoying it. You can see why people come back to this championship, because the hassle is not there. Everything is done for you. Turn up, jump in the car and enjoy a great race. Look at all these evenly matched cars battling it all out. Mitchell's still there. Watts is going to go past Geraghty again. Geraghty made the mistake again, still getting used to the cars. Then Simon Watts goes back past him. Geraghty gained 2 places at one part of the track, loses 2, barely half a lap later, and it's the 23 car back into the strong position here. This is all, I think, for 4th position again. On the back of the group is Callum Eason, who's come through again. Callum got spanked on the reverse grids, remember? He finished in 7th position in race number 1, so got put back to 12th on the grid. There's the battle for 4th, and it's the trio dicing it out now. We've got Scott Parkin P2. John Baker is going to be passed here, I think, by Parkin, who got a much better traction exit from the chicane. Coming up as well is Simon Rudd. At the moment we've got a Baker sandwich here. Baker's going to be down to 3rd. Parkin the new leader. Simon Rudd on the inside, but look at Baker in the blue 10 car, handing it out on the outside. Can he hold on to the traction? Rudd knows that he's probably got the advantage on the inside, squeezes through into 2nd place, but Baker is gamely hanging on to this one, still side by side. Rudd's got his nose in front for 2nd place. Now we're going to see Parkin start to build a little bit of a lead, maybe. Baker surely will lose out. He does when they go through the old hairpin, but that was a very game defence. Great piece of motor racing between the two. Clean and fair. That's what Focus Cup Championship racing is about. And Scott Parkin is on maybe for career win number 7 and a double here. We don't, as I said before, we don't see too many doubles because of the reverse grid racing. It's a big order to come through from 6 on the grid, but he's done it. He's been aided and abetted, of course, with the whippy moment we saw for Richard Avis, but it's been hard work for Scott Parkin to come through and lead this one down the straight in towards the Roberts chicane once again. Simon Rudd is 2nd. John Baker has not given up. This is great stuff from Baker. Knows that he's chasing the defending champion here at Donington Park, and these 3 are, well, considering they've been scrapping, they've still managed to pull away. Mind you, I suppose 4th place has been a huge battle as well. If we look down the end of the straight, we can see that in 4th position is Simon Watts, although we're hearing there might be a penalty for Simon being out of position at the start. We'll have to maybe go back and visit that. Round the outside, Callum Eason getting stuck in. He may be a rookie, but he's not afraid to use the outside. Geraghty on the inside. Ian Mitchell's going to try and slot through as well. All of this, remember, is for 5th place. Now we've got a 4th place breakaway at the moment. Callum on the inside. Mitchell's going to try and slot through on the inside. Callum goes wide over the gravel. It looked a lot more tame from the outfield camera, but on board you see how Callum has to ride the bumps and held his cool there. Fair play, Callum Eason. Great bit of racing from him. Loses a couple of places, but he's still in the mix for this one. Mitchell goes through, then Spencer Fortag now. First shout out for Spencer. Liam McGill at the back of the pack, on board with him. Callum Eason trying to get back in front of Richard Avis, grabs a little bit of curb, slots the WD logoed car up the inside, and trying to do the same thing here is McGill. McGill's on the grass, a little bit of rally crossing, and he's pointing. Go, go! Where's the room? 3 wide as they come down the straight. They sort themselves out. Eason's on the outside. Watch to the right. Oh, the contact there between and Eason punted onto the gravel as McGill goes through. I tell you what, Callum Eason has had a very physical race so far with I know people don't like the word robust, but there's been some robust racing, and he's been on the gravel, he's fought it all off, and he's still going, Callum. Here's Ian Mitchell now looking at Spencer Fortag. So what was a huge gaggle of cars for 4th is now a slightly reduced gaggle for 5th place, but terrific racing nonetheless from the MSVR Focus Cup. Spencer Fortag in the blue and white number 4, but here's Scott Parkin in the Powerflex machine, still with the race lead. John Baker not too far behind Simon Rudd once again, so I'll tell you what, if he's opening 2 races or anything to go by, I think we're in for another cracker of a season. Super Championship last year, top 3 maybe away in the distance, but there's still a fair amount between them. And fastest lap, as in lap 1, has just been set by Liam McGill in the number 62 car, so the newcomer to the championship, a 1:25.818, still outside Paul Donkin's lap record from 2019. So here we go along the Wheatcroft straight and onto the last lap. John Baker just dropping away a little bit at the moment. Simon Rudd is up to his pace and he's closing in on Scott Parkin. It's going to be a timed run, maybe to have a go on the last couple of corners. Simon Rudd looks like he's keeping Scott Parkin very honest indeed here. In car with the fastest man on track at the moment, Liam McGill. Mark Geraghty on the inside of Spencer Fortag will get the place. Richard Avis next up from Callum Eason. Callum still going, and you know what, we're going to see Callum Eason on the podium before too long. So many drivers in this championship capable of podium pace. It really is a super place to come and race. Great racing to watch as well. In car with McGill again, still with the fastest lap. Set 2 laps to go. Fortag goes to the outside, trying to get a run as they go through Schwantz, and that was read very well indeed by Mark Geraghty. Passes 2 of them again. Geraghty goes from the outside to the inside, and his countryman McGill is on the outside line. Let's have a look. McGill on the outside kicks a little bit of dirt up. You can see the pack still all involved there. 5 cars all scrapping over this position. Ian Mitchell is going to make it 3 wide, I think, as they go into Coppice. Grabs the curb. Is that going to give him enough momentum to go down the straight and maybe take it, as the battle for the lead is across the line, and it's Scott Parkin just from Simon Rudd. Super race between the pair of them. Thumbs up from both of them. Fair play. Great stuff from Simon Rudd in the closing stages. Ian Mitchell gets passed by Spencer Fortag for 7th position. Simon Watts crosses the line. I think it might be a penalty for Watts, so it's Parkin, Rudd, Baker, Watts, McGill, Geraghty, Fortag going across the line next. And indeed, in the final reckoning, a 10-second penalty for the 23 car of Simon Watts for being out of position at the start. And here's the result. Parkin from Rudd, Jonathan Baker, Liam McGill gets fastest lap and 4th. Mark Geraghty next from Spencer Fortag and Ian Mitchell. Richard Avis is 8th. From Simon Watts and Callum East. Claire Avis 11th from Simon Walton, then Greg Saunders and Abby Walton completing the finishes.
Scott, another fantastic victory after a much more dramatic race the second time round.
Yeah, definitely not as easy as the first one. Starting from pole and then winning's a lot easier than starting 6th and getting to the front. So yeah, bit of battling. Liam gave me the 5th position off the line. He missed a gear. He was struggling with the gearbox, and yeah, so that got me up to 5th. Then everybody were having the sort of little bit of battles. I managed to sort of dive down the inside at Old Hairpin on Simon Watts, and then I got a nudge at the back. So then I ended up dropping it into 2nd gear instead of 4th gear, and but the guy behind me spun. I think that was Liam. So then yeah, so then they were sort of like a battle for 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And then it was just a case of sort of picking through. So I got round Richard Avis. He battled hard, but you know, fair, which everybody did today. And then yeah, and then I managed to get John and Simon in one move, which I'd been sort of teeing it up for a couple of laps because I knew with how close they were together, it would either get them both or neither of them. So so yeah, I went straight for double and it worked.
I was going to say 3 wide into Redgate. That's brave.
Yeah, definitely. Luckily, I were at the front of that, so I think it was scarier for the guys behind for sure. But yeah, it was a very good race, interesting battle. So yeah.
Well, Simon, 2nd place. It's not a bad place to finish, but it did go right down to the wire there.
Yeah, very much so. I think it was a really close race. I think I needed to get past John a bit quicker. I really wanted to. I thought if I could get ahead of him, then I could pull him along with me, and I could see that Scott had an all right start, but the gap was enough that if I could get in front, I think that it would have been manageable. But you know, it was a good race. It was a close race. I think we were 3 abreast at one point. And yeah, so it was good, clean racing.
Well, John, that was a very, very tough race. You almost held on to the lead for the entirety of it, though.
Yeah, almost. Yeah, I spent most of the time looking in the rearview mirror. I've never been that far up before, so it was a whole new experience to me. But yeah, those two, they're both fast, and to keep them off for that long, I'm ecstatic over the result. It was, yeah, it was fantastic.
Well, Callum, race 2 definitely looked quite a lot tougher than race 1 did.
Yeah, it certainly looked as well as it was. It was, yeah, it was harder in general on me and the race. Obviously, later in the day, big gap in between. but put off some good moves. Folded me right hand mirror in, which is not the best, and left a little scar on the side of my car. So yeah, not bad. Could be better.
As you would expect, the championship led by Scott Parkin by 7 points ahead of Liam McGill. Defending champion Simon Rudd is in third from Simon Watts, Richard Avis and Spencer Fortag.
So it's double bubble then for Scott Parkin. 2 wins out of 2 to kickstart the season. I wonder if he will do a full title campaign after all. That's it from Donington Park. The next round of the championship is at the home of British Motorsport, Silverstone. Head to focuscup.co.uk for all the latest on the championship, and you could even get on the grid for yourself.